All right, everybody, behold the man. So you'll often notice that with a lot of my teachings, I start in the beginning. And I often go back to the beginning so you can see that this is all one seamless thought with God. I think we often look at it like God created and then man screwed everything up. And because of the fall, humanity had messed everything up. And so God had a last ditch effort to throw a Hail Mary and try to save the human race by sending his son. And it wasn't the plan, but he patched everything up. And we really need to look at it as this is one seamless thought. This is the way God does things. The new always comes out of the old. Jesus said that unless the seed die, it abides alone. But if it dies, it bears much fruit. And this is God's way of doing things. He always starts off with the old, and out of that emerges the new. And so we have to look at this all as salvation history. This is all one seamless thought. The Lamb was slain before the foundations of the earth. And so we get into the sixth day of creation where God says, let us make man in our image and in our likeness. And the word for man is anthropos. And so, Adam is made in the image of Christ. When God is saying, let us make man in our image, he's talking about Jesus. So Adam was actually made in the image of Christ. And so we all so often so much identify with Adam like that is our truest reality. But really, Adam was created in the image of Christ. And so eventually we know about the fall. And so we often look at the fall as that they ate a piece of fruit, and God got angry with them. And that's the way we look at sin. Like, it's all about behavior, and we're always focused on different behaviors of ourselves and each other. But really, Adam and Eve had fallen in their minds before they ate the fruit. The serpent came to Eve and with a whole bunch of lies saying, did God really say that? Is God really that good? Is he withholding something from you? If you eat this, you will become more like God. And all of these lies that Adam and Eve believed about themselves, that they were inferior, that they basically had to do something in order to become more like God, that God wasn't good, that he was withholding something from them. And so all of these lies that they believed, that was the fall in their minds. And then out of that, they ate the fruit. And so now we fast forward to the incarnation after the fall. And this is where God is about to do his greatest creative act and finish his creation. And so you have this story where Pilate, after Jesus has been scourged and whipped and is bearing the crown of thorns that have been embedded literally in his head, and Pilate says, behold the man, behold the anthropos. And we see this connection here that Jesus is actually bearing the image of Adam in exchange so we can bear the divine image. And so we need to look at it like from the perspective of Isaiah 52:14, which talks about the chapter of the suffering Messiah. And it says that Jesus was marred beyond human likeness and beaten beyond human form. You couldn't even recognize him as a human being. And so we see this happen to Jesus in a physical sense, but really the spiritual reality is that he is bearing our image, how we had become fallen in our minds and detached from spirit and had become alienated from our creator, and that we were separate and running away from him. And that is the image that Jesus is bearing in that moment, so he could exchange it for the divine image. We were always created in the image of God. Jesus is the truest face of who we are. He is the true face of the human soul, and he came to show us our face as in a mirror. And so he takes and he bears the divine image, and he takes it to the cross where he says, the creation, it is finished. This whole one seamless thought, God knowing that the Lamb had been slain before the foundations of the earth, that this was always going to be the reality of what was going to happen. Jesus takes that image that he had borne for us, and he buries that in the ground, and he nails it to the cross, and he rebirths us anew by the resurrection of the dead. And now we are new creations bearing the image of the divine. And this is why Paul says in Romans 8 that the whole creation is standing on tiptoe, waiting for the manifestation of the sons of God to realize who we are. I think we often think that our faith creates reality, but something's already been done by God. The incarnation has rewired the entire cosmos, and our faith manifests reality. It manifests something that had already been purposed in Christ before the foundations of the earth, and now it's waiting for the full manifestation like a budding flower. And so this is what the whole creation is waiting for us to realize, for us to live out of our inheritance. Actually, the whole idea of the word sin, hamartia, it means without form or without our full portion. And so this is really what this is. And so now we have our inheritance and we have our full portion. And Jesus has shown this to us, that this is the deepest reality of who we are and what we have, and that we should just manifest and live out of that reality. So behold the man, behold the image of men and women. We bear the divine image, the imago Dei, in the face of Jesus as in a mirror. And the more we engage that picture of who we really are, the more we wake up and manifest that in reality. God bless.